Hey, what's up, guys? Shuckle King here, bringing you my Week 1 Team Builder free on World Trophy against Marolt, coach of the Slovenia Slow Bros. Now, this is a little bit different. I'm just doing a Team Builder, and I had the face cam. I guess I'll bring it out for the playoffs, I suppose. But before we get into the matchup here, make sure you guys press the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. And maybe write a comment who you think is going to win, if it's going to be me or Marolt. I feel like it's going to be a close game, so hopefully we can provide that for you. Or, I mean, honestly, hopefully I just sweep this game outright and not have to worry about it. But, no, I want a good game for both of us. So, we made it to playoffs. We got the 6th seed, which I thought we were going to honestly do a little bit better than that going into playoffs. But we're in playoffs. It's all that matters. There's another team that finished 5-3 and didn't make playoffs, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, it was unfortunate for onesies. He finished off the season so strong, but it happens, I guess, with the only 8 games for the regular season, which makes all the games even more important, which I definitely appreciate. Anyway, we're getting on to a Marolt's team, and I don't know, I feel like wouldn't be something I would normally consider very threatening, but he's also gone 6-2. So this is definitely up in his wheelhouse and his style of team, so it's pretty cool to see him succeed with this team. I feel like doesn't have necessarily the superstar upper tier talent like, say, that my team has. I might honestly have the 3 best Pokemon between the 2 teams in Manaphy, Mew, and Mega Latios, but I feel like he still has a very good shot to win this game. Marolt's team, I guess I'll show the team below as well. Maybe I'll put a little bit more effort into this, but his team from most threatening, and I'll discuss all of them briefly, or more in depth, depending on the mod, is Mega Gyarados, Salamence, Jirachi, Tangrowth, Rotom Frost, Florges, Arcanine, Claydol, Silvally, Neolego, and the Audino. So I went over and watched all his matches, at least the Team Builder of all his matches, to get like a general sense of how he builds. And for the most part, I feel like generally a pretty bulky player, but he has like one win con that he tries to win the game with, and because he's gone 6-2, it usually has worked out for him. And when he goes a little bit more offensive, he seems a little bit not as confident as like more of a bulkier team. But I feel like against my team, with all the setup options, that you want to go a little bit more offensive, a little bit more hyper offensive, and prevent me from getting up my setup. So it's going to be, I feel like, a little bit of a challenge for him compared to me. So I feel like I have a little bit of the upper edge that I should be able to set up on some of his bulkier mons. And if he doesn't bring them, then I should be in pretty decent shape, unless he goes very hyper offensive. So I have Mega Gyarados and most threatening thing. So I have Mew and Mega Latios, and Mega Gyarados can Dragon Dance up on those and do very well. Probably close to win if he can get the +1 boost. What would I have? I have Darmanitan that does like over 60% with superpower, but I don't kill. Dugtrio can't really do much to revenge if I'm Scarfed. Archeops can like head smash Scarf, I suppose. But that's unreliable, and Manaphy is probably not going to be Scarfed in this matchup. And defensively, I have Ferrothorn that can take it on pretty well, but he can run Fire Blast into a KO me. So I have to consider that, and he has another setup option in the Salamence. So it's a pretty scary combination right there that I have to deal with both Dragon Dance users. Salamence, I feel like, isn't as threatening just because it's 4 times weak to Ice, so it's not as bulky, though both also have Intimidate, which isn't as problematic for my team just because Mew, Mega Latios, and Manaphy are all more special attacking based. All of my like faster Scarf users, you could call them, are all physically attacking, so it's kind of hard for me to switch them in as I set up a Dragon Dance, like predicting the Dragon Dance, because I probably won't be able to revenge kill them. So Mega Gyarados, again, bulky. Salamence, Dragon Dance I know is going to come. DNC is a pretty good stop to it, but again, Mega Gyarados kind of sets up on DNC, which isn't great there. I mean, I do have Moonblast, but he can just kill me with a Waterfall, Iron Head, Earthquake. He has a lot of options there, so it's kind of hard to run one type of berry to take on Mega Gyarados. I imagine Sea Fly from Salamence is a pretty safe bet with Dragon Dance, could be Roost, could be Fire Blast to hit my Ferrothorn, because Ferrothorn is also a somewhat decent answer to Salamence. Could be just Dragon Claw as a fourth move, even Substitute. I'm predicting if like I'm going to be Toxic and Leech Seed, Ferrothorn to wear down the Salamence. You can run subs, that way I can't really touch it besides Gyro Ball, which if there's like 2 Intimidates up between like the Arcanine plus the Mega Gyarados plus the Salamence, then that's pretty problematic there. Jirachi can be Scarfed, and it's always a great set. It adds speed to all my normal Tour Scarf users except for Archeops, and Archeops doesn't do a ton to Jirachi. I do have Dugtrio, so Dugtrio could trap, but I don't think I kill with it would be Adamant Earthquake. I can run Adamant in this matchup just because this team is so slow that Adamant Dugtrio will add speed like a Scarf Neolego if I'm Scarfed. So that is pretty clutch there. Jirachi could also be special defensive with like Shucka Berry and take on the Mew. And Mega Latios pretty well could be a Thunder Waving set there, which would kind of hamper a Mega Latios or a Manaphy sweep. Tangrowth, I definitely expect to come. I really expect these first, honestly, 4 definitely, and probably the 5th. Tangrowth, as Allfest takes on Manaphy really well, and his Manaphy answers are very limited. Mega Gyarados, kinda, but plus the Energy Ball does a ton, if not kills, and depending if he's bulky or not. Salamence, I have Ice Beam. I guess Rotom Frost, if he's Choice Scarf, can Revenge kill me. Neolego can't do much. He really doesn't have much in alliance of preventing me to set up with Manaphy. So I feel like he has to bring Tangrowth as like somewhat of a response to it. And that's also like, at least it used to be a typical, like probably in 6th gen, like AV Tangrowth was the set to counter Tailglow Manaphy. You could kill with Leaf Storm, and I can kill it +3 with Ice Beam if he's Assault Fest. Rotom Frost is probably at the 5th, and I'm like 95% sure he's going to bring just because he's brought it almost every game and has had pretty good success. And almost every time he's brought Rotom Frost is the Z Ice set, which definitely does really well because I don't have a great Ice Resist. Like Kariyama is okay. It's actually probably my best answer. Manaphy, obviously I can't really reliably switch into that because of a Volt Switch or Thunderbolt. And I guess Deante can kind of take hits. Okay. Could also be Scarf to prevent my Manaphy from doing a ton of damage. These next couple, not really quite sure of the order. I'm really scared of the first 5. Florges can come just because it's a special defensive wall, and I have a lot of special attacking Mons, though it's kind of passive, but it does take on the Mega Latios pretty well. And I expected it to be Hidden Power Fire to hit the Ferrothorn if he does bring the Florges. Could also be an offensive set, even Choice Scarf's a possibility. Arcanine, I'm pretty scared of an offensive Arcanine. It does very good damage against my team. Deante takes it on pretty well. And I guess like Thick That, physically defensive Hariyama also takes it on well. Other than that, I don't have great answers. It could be Crunch to hit my Psychic types. I 100% expect that to come. A Fire move, Wild Charge to hit my Manaphy. He has quite a few options. Close Combat just for general damage. Extreme Speed for priority. So, and a defensive set could also be scary. So there's a lot of options for the Arcanine there. Claydol, usually not too worried about it, but he brings it a lot. So I have it a little bit higher than I normally would. Silvally, it can do whatever it wants. So there is the possibility of it doing okay and coming, but it's probably just for a defogger because I do have every single form of hazards on my team. So it's definitely justifiable if you want to bring Silvally instead of Claydol for removal, because I think Rotom Frost can be more offensive than a defogging role. And I don't think Salamence is going to bring defog. I think it's a setup set there. Neolego is very low. I have Mega Latios and Mew and Manaphy. Drapion, Ferrothorn takes on hits. Deante can take it on pretty well. Scarf Darmanitan kills with Earthquake. Dugtrio is there. Archeops has Earthquake and outspeeds. Hariyama has Bullet Punch and Close Combat. Honestly, everything except for Shuckle can beat the Neolego, so that's probably not coming. Aldino, probably not coming too passive. So that's this team. So how I'm going to try to win this game, as I I mentioned Mega Gyarados, Salamence, two biggest threats. Dragon Dancers could both just win outright, so I had to find defensive ways to counter that. I know the Neolago's not coming, so Toxic Spikes are pretty free in this matchup, so I can get Spikes up and wear down his bulk, Entangros, Florges, Arcanine, Silvally. Then that's pretty clutch there, and then I have some offensive answers to hopefully win the game towards the end. So the first Pokemon I have is Luna the Ferrothorn with max HP, a lot of defense, a little bit of Spadef, Stealth Rocks, Leech Seed, Hidden Power Ice, Power Whip with Akaberry. Akaberry will just take general fire hits like from the Jirachi, can take a Fire Blast from the Salamence, Fire Blast from the Mega Gyarados, HP Fire from the Tangrowth, though that's not going to be doing a ton of damage. It could probably take any fire hit from Arcanine, unless it's like a very offensive set. But I probably wouldn't stay in on that. Rocks to chip down the Rotom Frost and the Salamence, Leech Seed. I was debating either Leech Seed or Toxic. I figured Leech Seed to have something to hit the Jirachi was a little bit more useful than a Toxic, because I wouldn't be able to hit that. The downside of this is I really don't hit Tangrowth that hard, but that's okay. And a Leech Seed is nice because I do get recovery because I don't have leftovers on this set. Power Whip, pretty standard, hits the Mega Gyarados for a lot of damage. Rotom Frost, Claydol, Aldino, Silvally. Florges does okay damage, especially with Leech Seed. And Neolego. And Hidden Power Ice is there for the Salamence. Trying to not let the Salamence or the Mega Gyarados find any ways to get a sweep up. So Hidden Power Ice should do like 40 to 50%, depending on the bulk. I 2 KO after Rocks, so it's going to be tough for the Salamence to set up on my Ferrothorn, especially with Leech Seed. The defensive investment allows me to live 3 Mega Gyarados crunches. So that was the defensive investment I went for, and the rest a little bit in the Spadef. I also live like a +1 Z-Fly from Gyarados from Salamence, and do a lot of damage with Hidden Power Ice in return. So I should be able to 1v1 the Salamence. Considered Gyro Ball over Hidden Power Ice. That does more damage to Salamence than Hidden Power Ice, but if there's an Intimidate up, it's based about the same damage. And if there's 2 Intimidates up between the Arcanine and Mega Gyarados and the Salamence, then Hidden Power Ice does more to Salamence. So that's why I went with that. Next Pokemon, so I was saying I want to try to get Toxic Spikes up. So I went with Adrenaline Orb, Drapion, Toxic Spikes, Poison Jab, Knockoff, Taunt, with some not normal EVs. So the attack investment allows me to 2 KO 12 HP Neolego, which it would be 12 HP Neolego to outspeed base 100, probably put the rest into HP. So 2 knockoffs will be able to kill. I don't really expect it to come, but it's nice to be able to 2 KO the Neolego, and then I can get Toxic Spikes up afterwards. The speed allows me to outspeed a max speed Rotom Frost that's not Scarfed, and the rest is into HP. And Form Spadef to maximize my bulk. Toxic Spikes are really nice, and Taunt will prevent his defoggers to prevent them from getting rid of the Toxic Spikes, like the Rotom Frost. Again, I don't really expect that to have it. Claydol has Rapid Spin, but I'd probably 2 KO with Knockoff, even if he's Colbur Berry. I don't outspeed a max speed Silvally, so we would be able to get a defog if that was the case. I taunt the Florges, and Salamence probably isn't going to be a defog. Poison Jab, 2 KOs the Florges. I am 2 KO'd by Moonblast, so it depends on the how that situation works out there. And Adrenaline Orb gives me a +1 speed if I'm hit by Intimidate, which is nice for the Salamence. I already outspeed the Mega Gyarados, and I can taunt before that Dragon Dances. But with the Adrenaline Orb, I outspeed, unless it's Scarf Salamence, I outspeed the Salamence, and I can taunt it to prevent it from getting up Dragon Dances, because after an Intimidate, I'm not doing a ton of damage to Salamence. If he gets he might have to burn a Z-Fly and get a Moxie boost, but I can handle a +1 taunted Salamence. Now to try to win the game here, as I try to do almost every match, win with Manaphy, Tailglow Manaphy, Scald, Ice Beam, Energy Ball, very straightforward. Ice Beam hits the Tangrowth, Energy Ball hits the Mega Gyarados, Scald does a lot of damage. I figured the burn chance, in case I don't get Toxic Spikes up, is a little bit nicer than Surf. I don't really get any 2-hit KOs from Surf that Scald wouldn't provide already. I also don't really need max special attack to do pretty well in this matchup, especially because the walls are pretty passive that he has, and Florge's Tangrowth. Audino, Arcanine's pretty threatened by me, so I can invest in bulk, which is nice because there is a chance I live 2 Volt switches from full from Choice Scarf, Rotom Frost, which would be pretty clutch. Pretty straightforward here. Ice Beam, I 2-hit KO, HP Special Defensive, Assault Vest Tangrowth. I 2-hit KO with Ice Beam, and he doesn't 2-hit KO me in return with a Giga Drain, even considering the HP recovery that he would get from that. So that's pretty clutch there. +3 Energy Ball doesn't kill max HP Gyarados after Ox, but I do kill if he's not max HP, which is pretty cool. And I kill Salamence. I think I do like 98% min to a Salamence with no rocks up, with a +0 boost. So that's pretty cool there. And I also live a +2 Fly or Dragon Claw from the Salamence if he already burned his Z move. So if he like Dragon Dances once, gets a Z Fly off on something, gets a Moxie boost, he's a +2. I can Revenge Kill with this Manaphy. Next Pokemon I have is the Mega Latios. Draco Meteor, Psyshock, Roost, Thunderwave. Pretty straightforward set here. The speed allows me outspeed Neolego, and Psyshock hits it harder, hits the Forges harder than a Psychic. Draco Meteor hits his team very hard overall, except for the Jirachi. This is the only thing I don't hit pretty hard. And I guess the Mega Gyarados. I do like 60% with Draco Meteor, but if I'm at -2, then the Mega Gyarados can set up on me. So I considered Energy Ball or Grass Knot in the last slot, but something to hit both the Jirachi and the Mega Gyarados is Thunder Wave. So Thunder Wave would slow down a Jirachi if it's Choice Scarfed, and I would also essentially neuter a Mega Gyarados trying to set up Dragon Dances on me if I'm at a -2 special attack with the Draco Meteor. And I guess kind of the same thing for Salamence, so I probably kill with a -2 Draco Meteor to a standard Salamence. Anything else special about this? Not really. Pretty straightforward set here. Next, Darmanitan does really well as a Choice Scarfer. I consider this or a Dugtrio in this 5th slot. If I had Dugtrio, then I probably would have brought Spike's Ferrothorn, but I'm going to go with the Darmanitan instead, as a very nice speed tier, outspeeding the Rotom Frost with this set. Dugtrio didn't kill the Jirachi with Earthquake, which was kind of unfortunate, and it gives him a way to a setup with the Salamence if I'm Choice Scarf locked into an Earthquake. With the Dugtrio, which isn't great, though, of course I could present the same situation because I do have Earthquake on this Darmanitan set to hit the Arcanine, but hopefully that doesn't happen. I'd probably be clicking U-Turn or Flare Blitz a lot, and I think Flare Blitz even 2-hit KOs kills the Salamence after rocks. It might not after if there's no rocks on the field. And Superpowers there to hit the Mega Gyarados for over 60%. Again, pretty straightforward EVs here. Last Pokemon, a little bit less straightforward EVs is the Mew. Colbur Berry with max HP, decent amount of defense, speed, and a tiny bit of special attack. So there's a little bit of meaning for this set. So the special attack breaks a substitute from like a very bulky Mega Gyarados. And I also kill a Salamence with no HP investment, which I could see him just being max attack, max speed to speed tie my Manaphy, and maybe get off a Z Fly before I can hit it with a nice beam in return. I also live a Z Outrage from the Salamence, which also means I live a Z Fly, which I think is probably going to come instead of Z Outrage. I also outspeed Animate Arcanine, which I could see as a threat. I don't outspeed Jolly. I don't think he brings it. I don't think he would expect. He could bring Jolly Arcanine. I really don't doubt it. I think he could be offensive and a lot of speed, but I think he would expect my Mew to be a little bit slower than what it is. And I do live obviously live a crunch from a Arcanine, but I also live a +1 Mega Gyarados crunch, which is pretty clutch, and then do like 40-ish% with Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere hits the Mega Gyarados plus the Rotom Frost. Earth Power hits a Jirachi and Neolego. Arcanine and Ice Beam hits a lot of his team. I don't do a ton of Florges, but with Toxic Spikes up, it shouldn't be that big of a problem, and I have Roost. So that's my team. Hopefully it does pretty well. Marolt has a pretty impressive run at 6-2. But hopefully we could beat that streak and get a rematch with Vebsis. And make sure you go check out Marolt's side of the battle and his Teambuilder. But until next time, later, guys.
All right, here we are for the battle against Marolt. It's my round 1 playoff matchup. I think my Teambuilder, I might have said just week 1 battle, so that's pretty funny there. But I also will be combining this with my Teambuilder, so sorry for saying that I was going to do a separate video, but I want to get this battle out there as soon as possible, and I have not been able to get a recording for a while, so my apologies for that. Anyway, Marolt's team consists of Drachi, Salamence, Florges, Arcanine, Silvally, Rotom, Heat, so no Mega Gyarados, and that is just great to see. Big threat against my Latios and my Mew, really a big threat against everything on my team except for the Ferrothorn and maybe somewhat the Manaphy, so that's great that I don't have to deal with probably the biggest threat on his team. But that definitely means that the Salamence is going to be a Dragon Dance sweeper, so I do have to watch out for that. My also no Neolego, so Toxic Spikes are pretty free for me, hitting the Florges, Arcanine, and the Silvally, unless if he's some typing that prevents him from getting hit by T-Spikes. His only rocker is Jirachi, so I'm expecting that to be more of a special defensive set, which makes sense to take on my Mega Latios. He could also be like special defensive plus Shuckle Berry to avoid my Doug trio. So his win con is going to be Salamence. Manaphy looks good in this matchup just because he doesn't have the Tangrowth, so I can almost probably close to kill everything on his team if I can get up a Tail Glow. So unless if they outspeed me or they're especially defensive. So this is looking pretty nice, and that means I'm sure that Rotom Frost is going to be Choice Scarfed. So that way he at least is somewhat of a revenge killer for my Manaphy. So we'll get right into this game, and I'm going to lead with Darmanitan because it gets a free U-turn against anything on his team. I could have Flare Blitz if he leads with like a Scarf Rotom Frost, but there's no chance he stays with that in the chance that I am Choice Scarf. So he leads Jirachi. I'm not scared, even if he is Choice Scarf. I'm not scared of a Choice Scarf set just because I could kill a Flare Blitz. And I think he's forced to be switched out. And I can get a U-turn off and gain momentum in this match, which is great. So he brings out the Dragonite, which is a Salamence. And we can see here's Intimidate here. So he is not Moxie set, which Moxie set probably would have been a little bit more threatening against my team because I'm mainly more special attackers. And Moxie sets can get a little bit out of hand if he can get a +1 speed boost up, which hopefully I can prevent. So I'm going to go right into my Mega Latios and scare him off with a Draco Meteor. And predict him to go either into his Florges or his Jirachi. I'm going to switch out into my Ferrothorn. And also I'm doing this in case if he's like a Scarf Salamence, he would be able to kill me with a Dragon Claw or an Outrage there. So I do get that prediction right. He does go in the Florges, and I can get rocks up for free. So this is pretty nice. I can get rocks up early on in the game to chip down the Arcanine, the Rotom Frost, and the Salamence. So that is definitely great for me. I do give a free switching into Arcanine, but I'm definitely okay with this. I have a pretty reliable defensive answer in Mew, and even if he is like a offensive set, I can take crunches pretty well and retaliate with an Earth Power. So I am able to bring in my Mew right here. As we see here, he goes for the Flame Charge. So definitely an offensive set. So that's pretty problematic. The damage shown that he is Jolly. And what I'm scared of right now is a weakness policy Arcanine. If he gets a second Flame Charge up, just wins at this point. So I have to really play around this Arcanine's head to make sure that he doesn't win. Like, if I go for Earth Power, I do at least half, because I'm assuming he's very little bulk to try to speed tire with my Darmanitan. So I imagine he doesn't have much speed on, or much bulk on his Arcanine. So I would do a lot, but then I would activate the weakness policy, and if he gets up to +2, then the match is pretty much over. So I have to figure out ways to make sure he doesn't get up his weakness policy. So I'm going to just go for the Roost here, scouting out if he has Crunch. I know he has Crunch, but just wanted to see what he was going to go for. If he switched out, then I have a full health Mew, which is great. He gets the defense drop, which is unfortunate. Based on that Crunch damage, he's probably a Black Glasses. So that's great to see. So he did 50 with the first hit. That means he'd only be doing about 100 HP for each hit. And because he did out of 207, which I can take 2 hits, and retaliate with 2 Earth Powers, which would basically kill my Mew off, but I would kill his Arcanine in return. But because he gets the defense drop, I cannot stay in on that. And again, at least I know he's not a weakness policy set, which is probably the most important thing out of all of this. So that's great information to see here, but I have to switch out with my defense drop. And I'm going to go into my Manaphy, hopefully that he doesn't predict that and go for the wild charge here, which he could definitely do. But he just goes for the safe play and goes for the crunch. And based on that damage, he is not Black Glasses, he's Expert Belt. So that makes more sense than a Black Glasses Arcanine. Though that's not out of the ordinary to hit my Mew or Mega Latios, but just Expert Belt does more. So I predict him to go for the wild charge. I'm going to go into my Ferrothorn and get a little bit of recoil damage between Iron Barbs and the recoil. Not much. I know I can take a wild charge into a Flare Blitz. The max roll from both hits being max rolls is 100%. So I'm really doubting that's going to happen unless he gets a crit. But he goes for the Flame Charge, so I can definitely eat that up with my Aqua Berry. He gets a Spec and Seed Boost, which is just absolutely terrifying. But I know he's not a weakness policy, so at least that's a little bit more reassuring. And I can get a lead seed up to at least wear that in his Arcanine, and I can make a bunch of double switches. Maybe, hopefully, he over-predicts at some point. And I should be able to get out of this exchange with maybe a little bit of chipped HP on my Mons, but at least with the lead seed, I'll be recovering some HP in return. But he's going to just flat switch out into Savali, which I'm definitely okay with. It's because you can see here, I'm going to be switching into my Manaphy, predicting to go for the Crunch or going for the Fire move on my Arcanine, even going for a close combat if he doesn't have a Flare Blitz, and just close combat would be doing decent damage to like my Darmanitan. So I'm going to just get a set up a Tail Globe. I'm not really threatened by anything that the Savali does, unless if he has Thunder Wave, which he goes for the Defog. And I also know that he's a Savali Steel, so my Toxic Spikes aren't as important in this matchup, because they only hit the Florges and the Arcanine that's already half dead, so I don't really have to prioritize trying to get up Toxic Spikes. But Stealth Rocks are still nice to have in this game. But at this point I can fire off a Free Scald. Based on that damage, it's like about 55%. So I'm predicting him to be like a max HP, maybe max defense or max speed set. I don't think he's max special defense based on the damage that I did there. Not entirely sure. But he does get a parting shot off, and I'm not worried about this Rotom. I know he's Scarfed. He can't kill me with any one hit, and I'm fine with even taking a Thunderbolt, which would do like 80-ish% if I can get a lot of damage off on this Rotom. So he does go for the Volt Switch. Based on that damage, he's modest Volt Switch, which makes a lot of sense based on the speed tiers of my team. And he goes into the Savali to sack it off. So his assumingly only Defogger, he has brought 2 forms of hazard removals to games before. But his Savali's gone, so hopefully if I can get rocks up a second time my Ferrothorn, they are here to stay. So that is definitely great there. He does go back into the Rotom Frost. And I'm going to go into my Mega Latios, predicting him to go for the Volt Switch. If he goes for the Blizzard, so be it. I would highly doubt that. And I don't really want to go to my Ferrothorn at this point, because it just gives him a lot of momentum. And he can go right back to Arcanine, and it'd be another threatening situation again. So he switches out the Rotom Frost, and he does bring in the Jirachi, which makes a lot of sense. I can Thunder Wave this, and if I can like cripple any type of Jirachi, I'm okay. Because I also know I can live any one hit. A Shadow Ball or an Ice Punch should not be taking out my Mega Latios at this point, so I'm going to go for the Thunder Wave on this Latios, and he goes for the U-turn. So he has Choice Scarf, and probably not Stealth Rocks, which is great for my Darmanitan. He does about half to me, which shows that he is physically invested Jirachi, so probably a Choice Scarf set with like Iron Head and Zen Headbutt. So I go through the Thunder Wave. He makes a great play into the Rotom Frost, because probably the worst case scenario for me hitting the Rotom Frost would be going for a Shadow Ball hitting the Mew. But also, so he probably wasn't predicting the Thunder Wave. He might have also been predicting the Earthquake, which hits the Jirachi, but especially coming from Mega Latios, has a lot of attack, so Rotom Frost was definitely a good play, knowing that he was Scarfed there. So I'm kind of forced to switch out, because I don't want to sacrifice my Latios at this point, so I'm going to go to my Ferrothorn, predicting him just go for the Volt Switch and gain momentum into his Arcanine, but he does go for the Blizzard and miss, which is great for me. Blizzard would have done about 45%, so hitting 2 Blizzards would have killed my Ferrothorn, which is unfortunate, but it is the chance you get with running Blizzard, and he can't really run. If you run Tin Power Ice, then that's not doing nearly enough damage. That wouldn't have 3-hit KO'd me, I'm pretty sure. So I have a pretty free opportunity to either get up Elite Seed, predicting the Arcanine, or the Salamence, or just going for the rocks here. I figured the rocks are a better long-term investment because I'll be hitting the Arcanine and the Rotom Frost and the Salamence throughout this match. So I give a free switch in the Arcanine, but I'm okay with this exchange. So I'm going to save my Ferrothorn for later, now that he missed the Blizzard, and maybe save it for other mons later on. And I'm going to go into my Darmanitan as a pretty aggressive play, but predicting him to go for the Flame Charge or even a Flare Blitz. That doesn't do too much damage, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake here. Hopefully add speed, I'm not necessarily sure, but I do add speed and I kill with an Earthquake here. Which is great for me, but now he knows that I'm Choice Scarf Darmanitan, and he has something that does not take any damage from an Earthquake from Darmanitan, and that is his Dragonite or the Salamence. So that's pretty scary at this point, because I know this is his win condition, and he just brings it in right now. So I'm sure he's trying to go for game at this point. So what I'm going to do is kind of sack off my Manaphy. My plan is, because my Mew is at max health, I could take some hits from this Salamence and kill with an Ice Beam. So that's my game plan. He goes for the Dragon Dance here. And he can either kill me with a Dragon Claw or kill me with a Z-Fly. So I'm predicting him to go for either one of those moves. So I'm going to switch out and go into my Ferrothorn. If he goes for the Dragon Claw, then he's going to be taking some chip damage. But he goes right for the Fly. So there was a chance, I think it was a pretty good roll in his favor, that he would kill with a Fly at +1, but because I am max HP Manaphy, there was a small chance that I could have lived, but I probably wouldn't have lived. So, but if I did live and kill with an Ice Beam there, that would have been awesome. But he does not, and I also don't know if he's Adamant or Jolly at this point, but I can either go for Hidden Power Ice or go for Elite Seed at this point, and I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Ice because I should be doing about 50%, so I might kill after the recoil from this hit from Dragonite, and based on the damage, I don't know if he's Adamant or Jolly. So I go for the Hidden Power Ice, and it does about 50%, so he might have a little bit of bulk. It's kind of hard to tell based on that damage. It could either be like a max roll with a little bulk or a min roll with a lot of bulk, so can't really tell if what his HP spread is. But I'm going to just go for the Lead Seed, predicting him to either just kill me off with a Z move, or a Dragon Claw, or going for the Roost. So by him going for the Roost, I have a little bit more HP recovery, and hopefully it's a little bit harder for him to sweep. I need to go continuously for Roost, which is a little problematic for Hidden Power Ice because it's not doing enough damage. But Hidden Power Ice is definitely to play over having Gyro Ball, just because he wouldn't have been able, most likely, actually no, he might not have been, actually no, he would have been able to PP stall me, because Gyro Ball plus Leech Seed probably is doing about 50%. So eventually he would be able to PP stall me out of Gyro Balls, and he would be able to roost up basically for free on my Ferrothorn. So he is going to be sending up some Dragon Dances. I have to prevent him from getting up to +4. If he can get to +3 and kill me off, then my Mew can revenge kill with an Ice Beam. I should be able to live a Fly at +3, unless if he's Adamant, and I'm not entirely sure if he's Adamant yet. So I'm predicting him to go for the Z move here, because otherwise he would die, but he does go for the right play and go for Roost. But at this point, I'm trying to bait him to not getting, I mean, +3 would be problematic if he's Adamant, but I think he's Jolly. I'm not quite sure yet. But again, I'm trying to bait him to go for the Z move, so that way my Ferrothorn can take him on 1v1, or my Mew can take a +3 non-Z move hit. So I'm trying to see what his last move is, and a Steel Wing to hit my DNT. So that makes a lot of sense. And based on that damage there, I know he's Jolly, because that was a low roll Jolly. No way that he's Adamant. So this is good information to know. So if he does get the +3 and uses a Z move, then I can take a revenge kill with my Mew, unless he gets a crit. So again, he's continuously roosting, and at this point I was not counting the PP of the roost, which I guess I probably should have. It's hard to take all that in consideration with these live battles, so it's a lot easier on a showdown, obviously. So he's just trying to figure out ways to get a third Dragon Dance up, and he's going to be continuously roosting for a few turns. might be a little bit boring to watch, but it's definitely the right play for Marolt to try to get as many Dragon Dances up as possible. And also watch out that if I get a crit on the Salamence at a wrong time. Like if he roosts and I get a crit, then it's not too big of a deal, but if he Dragon Dances and I crit with a Hidden Power Ice, then that's going to be doing significantly more damage. So again, he's still continuously trying to roost, which definitely makes a lot of sense there. Just hoping and praying for the best that he does not get up to +4. And I feel like with the Hidden Power Ices, it's kind of deterring him from not trying to get up to a +4. The timer was not really an issue at this point. We were still over halfway through, and I'm not trying to win with a timer stalling at this point. I don't care that much for playoffs to try to timer stall somebody to get a win. It kind of seems lame at this point in the playoffs for more of a fun league. So I do get him pretty low with that Hidden Power Ice because he was at he didn't roost on the previous turn, so just barely is able to live that. And he's again continuously to roost. I can't do too much about it. It might have been nice if I had Toxic instead of Leech Seed on this Ferrothorn, like I said in my team builder, but I guess at least with the Leech Seed, it kind of helped against the Arcanine get a little bit more HP there. I get a crit, but it doesn't matter because he goes for the roost. Toxic would have definitely made things a lot quicker, and he probably wouldn't get a chance to outright sweep me with Dragon Dance, because now he is able to get up more Dragon Dances, and when Toxic, he could probably only get up 1 boost, but he could probably still do a decent amount of damage to my team, even with 1 boost. But again, he's continuously going for the Leech Seeds, and he's still going for the Roost. So again, as I said before, trying to make sure he does not get up to +3, or if he does get up to +3, he just goes for the Z Fly on me instead of the Mew. So it's trying to figure out when I feel like he's going to be burning his Z Fly and when I could maybe get switches off and sacrifice stuff. And he's still continuously roosting. So it's a lot of roosting, but I feel like it's getting pretty close to the point where he does decide to make his next choice of action here. So he's at pretty high HP. After Leech Seed damage, he could probably go for a 4th Dragon Dance here, but he does go for the Z move. Hidden Power Ice in the Leech Seed probably would have taken him pretty close to maybe knocking him out. And with Roost PP, it might be pretty tough to get any farther than that. So he does go for the Supersonic Sky Strike and kills my Ferrothorn here. If he got up to +4 there, then I would have been a little bit more aggressive in trying to predict when he would have gone for the Z Fly, because my Ferrothorn is a little bit more important at that point to make sure it's alive, because my Mew can't take a +4 hit. But I can take a +3 Fly as long as he doesn't crit. The roll from a Max Attack Jolly is actually an 18% chance for him to kill, but I'm okay to take that chance, especially because there's a 15% chance that Fly just outright misses. There's also a 4% chance that he just crits, but if he crits with Fly, then so be it. That's how my season goes. So he gets actually a higher mid-roll, but it is not enough to kill my Mew, and I'm able to kill off the Salamence with only sacrificing 1 full mon to this. So that's definitely a great exchange, and I'm in pretty good position. It's down to the Florges, Jirachi, and the Rotom Frost. And I have my Mew in. It is basically death fodder. I could roost up on this, but I don't want him to be Calm Mind, so I'm going to go right into my Drapion in case he does Calm Mind here. But he does make the double switch and go into Jirachi, which I felt like was a weird play. I don't know what he was trying to predict at that point, but that's definitely okay with me. I can just go for a pretty free knockoff, either getting rid of this Choice Scarf here, getting rid of any item on the Florges, or getting rid of the Scarf from the Rotom. He could have Iron-Headed there, but it would have been way too risky. If I was like a defensive set, I could probably take, I think, 5 or 6 Iron Heads if I was defensive, so you can risk getting all those flinches there. So I do get a knockoff on the Rotom Frost, and because I know I outspeed, I could go for a knockoff again, maybe bluff that I'm Scarfed, and to a KO the Rotom Frost. So at this point, it's only the Florges and the Jirachi, so I think his Wincon is trying to get Iron Head flinches with the Jirachi. I'm going to go for the knockoff in case if it's any weird set for the Florges. I know he can knock me out with 2 Moonblasts at this point, but that is okay because I can just revenge kill with a lot of other things in my team. So I'm going to go right for the poison jab here to do a decent amount of damage to this Fortress, almost killing it. But I knew it wasn't going to kill because I knew he was max HP, max defense based on the knockoff damage. So the Fortress is able to KO my Drapion. I'm okay with that. I'm not worried about differential at this point. So I'm going to go right on my Darmanitan and kill with the Flare Blitz. And as long as the Jirachi doesn't get either 1 or 2 flinches, depending if he's Zen Headbutt, he probably only needs 1 flinch. And he can 2-hit KO me. If he's a Heart Stamp, he probably needs to, he probably 3-hit KOs me. So he probably needs to go for 2 flinches with the Heart Stamp. But as we can see here, he is not going to be getting the first flinch at all. So I am able to kill with a Flare Blitz, and I win the game 4-0 against Marolt. So overall, very happy with this outcome here. The Blizzard miss on the Ferrothorn was definitely unfortunate for him, obviously, because of how long my Ferrothorn was able to live throughout this match. But I would have played the game out differently for sure. If my Ferrothorn was dead against a Rotom, and would have played the Arcanine differently, like I might not have gone for the Earthquake with my Darmanitan, or would have figured out a different way to maybe kill the Arcanine instead of using Darmanitan, because I knew going into Darmanitan gave a free switching into Salamence, and I knew I had Ferrothorn in the back to at least somewhat deter the Salamence from setting up, even though he did anyway. So it was unfortunate there, but otherwise a great battle. Good game to Marolt. He had a great season going 6-2 with a team I didn't feel like was as good as something I would draft, or like something that I would be more confident and more be threatened in, but it definitely worked out for him. So great props to Marolt. Check out his side of the battle for sure. But going in the round 2 of playoffs against Vepsis, it's going to be a rematch. It's going to be fun. I feel like it might determine who wins this season, but we'll see. We still got Leo and the winner of Automatic and John Jr. on the other side. That's definitely going to be a good matchup there as well. And make sure you guys check out John Jr. and Auto for their round 1 playoff matchups. But until next time, later guys.